So the new game that's taking over the gaming community right now is Palworld, which people are calling Pokemon with Guns and has sold over 7 million copies within the first 5 days of being released. Now personally, I haven't played it, but from the clips I've seen, Pokemon with Guns is the most accurate description you can give the game, along with having all the features of every survival game out right now, as well as being able to catch these creatures and put them to work, even being able to catch humans and bring back slavery from the privacy of your own home. It's no wonder this game is getting so much attention. Obviously though, the biggest factor bringing in all these players is the Pokemon type creatures in this game they have called pals, and just like I mentioned, you can catch them, have them fight, work for you, basically things you'd want Game Freak to add into one of their Pokemon games. And of course, with Pokemon almost being 30 years old, it's about time someone changed up the formula. The secret formula. And of course, this isn't the first time someone has taken the Pokemon formula and decided to make their own product. There are countless games from console to mobile that have some sort of in-game animal that can be caught and or evolve into something, as well as being some sort of pet. Even this company, MetaZoo, is making Pokemon-like trading cards. You're gonna tell me this doesn't look like these three at a fucking orgy? But apparently Palworld has struck the wrong chord with Pokemon fans everywhere, with almost all of them complaining about the similarities for the in-game creatures. Pokemon fans think that Palworld deliberately took assets from existing Pokemon games and changed the way they look while keeping the original model shape. There are people who are even overlapping 3D models trying to prove that accidentally creating a complex model mesh with so near exact proportions is practically impossible. And it is, which is why people are calling out the video calling out Palworld, explaining how the model in fact does not match perfectly, and even if it did, the guy who made this said he was only doing this because he thinks the game glorifies animal abuse. Nigga, shut the hell up and eat a cinnamon roll. There's even someone who went through every PAL creature and compared them to the Pokemon they resemble the most, and I'll be honest, some of them do look like the Pokemon they're referencing, and I'll put up a few so you know what I'm talking about. But then you have ones like this, and it's like, this one is a fucking dolphin, and this one is a manta ray. How does someone see this and actually go, I think we gotta hit up our lawyers, because we got a lawsuit on our hands? And then the lawyer's like, I'm looking at this picture and one of them's a fucking dolphin and the other's a manta ray. Now, I'm not saying the creators of Palworld didn't take any inspiration from Pokemon and make their own game, because one of the developers from Palworld said they take a lot of inspiration from Pokemon, but also explain how their game is more like Ark rather than Pokemon. And I mean, here's gameplay from the most recent Pokemon game versus Palworld, and now compare it to Ark. Obviously, one game's creatures look a lot more Pokemon-like, but the last time I checked, you couldn't go around clubbing Pokemon like a fucking baby seal. And I get that some people may not like that, you're a pussy, but I'd rather have someone hate the game for that than cry about how the game makes characters that are similar. I think this meme perfectly represents how these Pokemon fans feel. And then because no one cares how they feel, someone made a Pokemon mod just for Palworld, which got taken down within 24 hours. Which also should be a sign for everyone hating on this game solely for the fact that their creatures are similar. Nintendo took this dude's video down before he could even wake up the next day and see how viral it went. If Palworld was stealing these characters' models or whatever it is you're accusing them of doing, do you think Nintendo, the company notorious for abusing copyright claims and sending people DMCA notices, would let this game get over 7 million downloads in a week? This game was announced 3 years ago, 1,000,000%. From the day this game was announced to the day it was released, Nintendo has been paying its layers quadruple overtime to find a way to get this game to not come out. They've had 3 years to find something, anything to be like, hey, that toenail, that Pokemon is the same exact model toenail as the one on our Pokemon, but nothing. They didn't find shit. They didn't do anything. And to think this was all made by an independent game company, who even the official Opera GX company on Twitter is like, hey, which one of these games was made by a billion-dollar company? Basically saying that Pokemon is fucking scamming you when Palworld costs under $30 and this game costs you $60. And I haven't played a Pokemon game in a long time, but can somebody tell me what the fuck this is? If you showed me these two pictures before I even knew about what Palworld was, and asked me, hey, which one of these was made by an indie game company? 10 times out of 10, I'm picking this piece of shit. In reality, the Pokemon fans who are mad at this game should be happy it came out. Since 1996, we have gotten the same copy and paste game with better graphics from Game Freak. It's about time someone shows them what a game about catching monsters has a potential to actually be like. I'm not saying for Nintendo to go out and be like, well, alright pussy, here's our version of your game, but just with the characters everyone knows and loves. No, but they could take notes. And it is weird that out of everything that's been released that could be considered a Pokemon ripoff, these people choose to go after a game that is something they would play had Pokemon's name been attached to it in any capacity. They could have put inspired by Pokemon in the title in really small font and everyone who's mad would have been like, what? No, that's not stealing, that's inspiration, saving everyone from so many arguments. And when it's not Pokemon fans, it's just other people calling the game trash because everyone else is doing so. Drama Alert posted, "An absolute trash game is #1 on stream. Keem, you're like 45. You were too old to play Pokemon when it came out, you fucking garden gnome." Or like someone said, "Back in the 90s, I would have never guessed a top-selling game in 2024 would look this bad." What are you fucking talking about? If someone told you in the 90s that they were coming out with a game that's Pokemon with guns, you would shit your baby boy pants in excitement about a game your parents would never let you get. I get that you guys like smoking Nintendo's meat and marinating it in your mouth, but just face it, you're jealous that your beloved Pokemon company never came out with anything this cool, and you're mad you don't know every creature's name by heart. And honestly, more independent companies should be making games like this that take inspiration from classics we all know and love. And unfortunately, catching animals that are out of your fucking imagination is not something Nintendo has the rights to. What I don't get is how, aside from complaining about the similarities and how it's animal abuse, like they were fucking PETA complaining about Pokemon, how does it make the game bad? How does that affect the gameplay? Like, those are just bullshit personal reasons that are literally made up. The person who made this, the person who posted this, give me 10 good reasons why having similar character models is bad. No one is going to confuse this game with Pokemon. Yeah, if you're like fucking 12 years old maybe? But by now, less than a week after it's been released, everyone knows this is anything but Pokemon. In the end, nobody can deny this game is spreading like a good version of AIDS, and from what I'm seeing, it looks like they're only gonna get bigger, considering that they outsold the fastest selling Pokemon game by 500,000 copies. That's 5 entire Alabama football stadiums. Also, one last thing before I go, I don't know if you guys know who Tay Day is, but he's the guy who sings Chocolate Rain, which was fucking huge years ago. They even had him in a South Park episode.
Nothing takes priority over Chocolate Rain.
But he's been commenting on my videos, and I thought this whole time that it was just somebody using an account with his name. But it's actually him, and that's weirdly fucking awesome to me. You the dude, Tay? See you guys tomorrow. Peace.